All right, so let's move into AppSheet expressions. So, kind of kicking off, what are AppSheet expressions? So, at the basic understanding of an expression is they're pretty similar to Google Sheets formulas. One thing that Cam mentioned as I was learning AppSheet and how to build expressions is he was like, an AppSheet expression is just like a Google formula because the only difference is you don't have to put the equal sign in an AppSheet expression. And I thought that was like blew my mind. I was like, oh yeah, it is like almost exactly the same as a Google Sheets formula. So the connection between those two platforms is pretty seamless once you start learning the structure and how to incorporate some of those skills from Google Sheets into AppSheet. And it's the tool that's going to allow you to build that advanced business logic throughout your apps. So the app that we're looking at today is, again, that employee onboarding app. So if you were with us last week, you saw Clark kind of build out the data structure for that and take a deep dive on how to build that data structure. This week, Cam is going to take that app a step further and show you guys how to add those expressions in to start creating some user experience and mapping out that business logic for the app. All right, so creating an expression. So we have dynamic values, date and time values, and text values. So these are pretty basic and simple ways to use expressions. With dynamic values, you're going to use the square bracket columns, right? You want to make sure you're capturing each record from a specific column, and you can do that in AppSheet by using those square brackets. For date and times, we recommend the double quotes as well as for text. So if you're wanting dynamic values, you're going to be using those column square brackets, and then date time is that quotation marks. You can also use some different functions. You can look back at some of our previous webinars to find those, and then text is that double brackets as well. All right, so again, the main purpose of this app is for employee onboarding, and it's to digitally manage the onboarding process. And we have some functional requirements here to create team members, list resources, and send company updates. And so we'll take a brief look again at this application, and we can see it right here. And we have our profile page. So if we click into that, we can edit whoever's logged in to the app can edit their profile page and select whether or not they want email updates. And they can toggle it on and off there. And this is a quick edit view for users to edit their profile. And I say quick edit, but the view is a detail view with quick edit columns rather. And then we can go to the team directory, and then this is a deck view. Is that right, Cameron?
The card view.
Card view, right. I always get those two mixed up. Yeah. Cool. So you can see each of the employees' names, their position or role, I think is what the column is called. And then you have some different action buttons. And AppSheet actually creates these if you have those specific columns in your database. And then finally, we have our resources. So you can see Cam's webinar has been loaded in there, as well as Clark's from last week. So if you missed last week's, you can find Clark's webinar there. And then we have our trainings. So a lot of you guys have signed up for our pro subscription. So thank you for supporting us and supporting the channel. And we want to help support you guys. So we've got new content coming every month. So if you're on the pro subscription, you're going to get some new content next month. Super excited for the course that's coming out. There will be more details about that later. And then we have our expressions down here. So these are all resources that employees of AppSheet Training can look through and go through as they're being onboarded to being an AppSheet developer. All right. And so what Cameron's going to look at specifically is how to create some user behavior, navigation, and some expressions to help facilitate all the different features and functions in that app. Also, if you want to receive this app and get this quick reference guide and kind of follow along with us, make sure to sign up at and register for weekly webinars, and we'll send you this quick reference guide. And then at the end of this video, I'll put all these links in the description below so that you guys can have access to that. And this is the app template. And so what you're going to do is just click this link here, and it'll take you to our AppSheet portfolio, and then you can copy and customize the app and use it for your organization to help your teams grow. All right. And then it also kind of tells you how to copy and customize your Google Sheets data as well. All right. So let's get back to the slides. And then we just did our AppSheet demo, kind of moved ahead a little bit. And next, I'm going to hand it over to Cameron. So Cameron, if you want to take it away, I will let you start sharing your screen.
All right.
All right.
All right, guys. Welcome to the AppSheet demo. Today we're going to be talking about expressions, and we got 3 that we're going to be focusing on. And then the first functional requirement is that we want to create a profile page for the employees to edit. And so what this is whenever they go to the employees page, we want to take them to their own specific profile. So their user record. We don't want to bring them to another one. We don't want to bring them to somebody else. We want to only bring them to themselves. And so how we're going to do that is by creating a slice. And let's go ahead and jump into AppSheet and do that. All right. So right here we have the data for team right here. And we can see that the key is the email. And there's a function within AppSheet that allows us to get the email of the person who's currently logged in to AppSheet. And that expression, that function, is going to be user email and then open and closing parentheses. This is going to return the email that is logged into this instance of AppSheet. All right. And so once we have that, we can have a slice that breaks that table of these teams right here. It will take this table with all these teams and then return essentially a new table that just only has the records where email is equal to user email. So let's go ahead and do that. So right here, we have this view that Austin has created. And if we were to click into it, it takes us to this right here. And what this is a form this is the detail view for my profile. And there's a few quick edits and stuff like that. But what we want to do is we kind of want to step back what is currently right here, and we want to redo it. And so if we look at this, we see that this view is referencing a slice. And so now we want to go create that slice ourselves, because initially it would be connected to team, and you would have access to every single one of these team members. So as we see, we can scroll between all the other team members right here, but we don't want that to be the thing. We want to actually make it where only your record is shown. All right. So we do that using a slice. So if we go over to data and then slices, we have this right here, create new slice. We'll go ahead and call this my profile, and that's the name of the one that Austin has already created. So I'll just type in webinar. All right. And then this slice is a segment, a portion of the team table. So for the source table, we want to actually choose team. And then right here, the row filter condition, this is where we're going to type in the expression for this first example. And so, like I said, the way that we return a email of the person who's logged into AppSheet currently is user email and then parentheses, just like that. And if your expression editor looks a little bit different than mine, that's because I'm using the AppSheet Toolbox Chrome extension that allows us to check out the schema of the different tables that we have in our app. It allows us to look at documentation, search documentation, and then also a cool feature with it is whenever you click right here, let's click this in function. It will actually take the in function and search it inside of the inside of here. And then another cool thing is that you can actually snip right here and it will save that expression over here into your snippets. Super cool. So if yours just looks different, that's why. And then, so now we are returning the email. So if we go down here and we want to use a comparison, the equal sign, and see if the email of that record is equal to the person who's using the app's email. And so we do that by dynamically calling the email column. So now it's checking through every single row inside the team table to see if the email column is equal to the email of the person who's currently signed in, which if we'll go ahead and look at that right now. So I'll go ahead and hit save. And we see right here in the bottom right of my screen, we have app@grease.solutions. That is the email that is currently logged into AppSheet at the moment. So if we go over here, we'll see whenever it's creating the slice, it's going to start off with this first row and say, is this app@grease.solutions? No? Okay, I'm not going to include it into this slice. And then it goes down to this one and says, this is also not app@grease.solutions. So I'm also not going to include it. Goes through every single record inside the table and then only includes the ones where that condition is true and its email is equal to app@grease.solutions because that's who I'm currently logged in as right now. And so for me on when I'm logged into app@grease.solutions, yeah, I'll go ahead and zoom in. Yeah, so whenever I'm logged into app@grease.solutions, the only record inside this will be app@grease.solutions. However, if I'm logged in at Cameron@grease.solutions, that will be the only record that shows up for me when I'm logged in to that. All right. So we can go ahead and hit save now that we've created that slice. And then if we go back to this profile view, we can retarget it from the team table into the My Profile slice, the My Profile webinar slice.
Nice.
Then to go ahead and hit save. And we can see whenever we go to the My Profile view that we just edited, it's only going to take us to the Crew Apps record. And so let's go ahead and try that with another user. I'm going to do this using Justin's right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy Justin's email, and I'm going to preview the app as Justin for now. Then I'm going to hit apply. And so now when I'm on this view, I'm viewing it currently as Justin Lyons.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
So, so you created that feature using a slice. Can you go a little bit deeper on like what makes a slice different from just targeting the whole table?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
So think of a slice. So there's a table, and that table has, let's say, 100 records.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say these are projects. This is a project table.
Yeah.
Each of these 100 projects have different statuses. Some of the statuses are completed. Some of them are not complete. Some are in progress. Some are discontinued.
Mm-hmm.
What you can do is you can have a slice which segments that table using a filter condition. So that filter condition could be status equals complete.
Mm.
And then now if we were to create a view with this new slice,
Yeah,
it would only show the records where the status is complete.
right.
And so it allows you to take a giant table that has all this data and kind of like make it into a niche database. And so you can get more complex with these.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, okay, I only want to see the active, I only want to see the projects that are in progress and assigned to my email.
Yeah.
That way, that slice is essentially saying I only want my active projects to show up
Yeah.
on this slice. And so it allows you to kind of bypass a lot of the overload of information,
Mhm.
because on the average day to day, me as Cameron, I'm only working on the projects that are active for me right now. Those are 90% of the projects I want to see throughout a day.
Right.
And so it doesn't make sense for me to scroll through 100 projects
Mhm.
for other people and projects that are completed and all that stuff,
Yeah.
whenever I only am looking for, on average, about 3 projects a day.
Yeah.
And so I don't need to see 100 of them in a view.
Mhm.
And so this allows you to kind of niche down, specify what records you want to see.
Yeah.
And so in this use case, we were just limiting all the team records into
Yeah.
just you showing the one that is assigned to us, the one that is us.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
when I
for
was
sure.
first starting out, slices were super confusing to me because I I didn't really understand what the use case for them would be. But getting to put into practical examples like the profile page or like you're saying with statuses, I started
Mhm,
seeing, oh, this is why you would want to create a slice of data
mhm.
rather than using the whole data set. I like that
Absolutely.
example of like um, helping the end user see only what's relevant to them because looking at the whole data set for a status that you only want to see that's active or complete um, just makes sense for the end user and it can overcomplicate the app if it's showing everything to that end user. So nice.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just like our clients are coming to us because they're
Mhm.
trying to optimize their business workflows.
Right.
And if we digitize all their data capture
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
data visualization,
Hmm.
then that increases their workflow, let's say by 80%.
Hmm.
But if we also only show them the data that's relevant to what they need in an intelligent way,
Yeah.
then we can speed it up by 90%.
Yeah.
And so just like slices are one of those tools you can use to improve workflows and showing the data that you need to see,
Nice.
for sure.
Sweet, dude.
All right, and we got the second functional requirement right here. And this is to a link to view of resources filtered by categories. And so we're going to be using a deep link expression for this second functional requirement. And what a deep link expression is, think of it kind of like an address with a list of instructions on how to get there. So a deep link is the address and the instructions. Um, and what that looks like is we can create an action button that whenever it gets clicked, it sends you to that instructions. And some of the different deep links have the instructions on where the destination is, how to get to the destination. And so the link to filtered view, it has a destination of a view that you want. Since it's a filtered view, you would only want to do a multi-record view. These are things like a table view, a deck view, a card view. It's a sort of view that will show multiple records. So it could be a map or a calendar, something like that. And then from there, instead of showing all the information in that view, we want to temporarily add a filter to it. And so what that looks like for us is that over here inside the app, we go over to the resources view. We can see that we have a weekly webinar right here, and we have a list of all these weekly webinars, and then we have a list of trainings, and then we have a list of expressions, and then a list of enterprise trainings and certifications and stuff like that. And so what we want to do is we want to create a view that has a list of all the different categories. And when you click one of those categories, it takes you to this view right here, but it filters it down to the category you've chosen. So what we need to do that is we need to first make sure we have a table where we have a record for weekly webinar, where we have a record for training, we have a record inside of it for expressions and so on. So let's go over into the data and do that, because we need a view that displays those categories. And so in AppSheet, you can't create a view that's not connected to data. And so we need to create the data for that. And so right here inside of resources, we have a little bit of a list right here of all the different resources that we need a view for. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all the unique ones, which is expressions, training, enterprise, certification, and weekly webinar. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to create a new view, and I'm going to call this resource cat for category.
Nice.
And so we just want an ID, and we want a category. Category? Isn't it? Is it category or?
Maybe zoom in a little bit. I can't see.
All right, let's just go in here. Yeah, it's an E.
Okay.
I'm learning how to spell here.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and make those bold, and I'm going to paste these new categories in here right here. And so one thing that we want to do is we want to create unique IDs right here. If we were creating it inside the app, we would obviously just use the unique ID function. But since we're doing it through Google Sheets and doing it manually, we want to generate our own IDs right here. So a cool little thing that I like to use is if you go into here and you say AppSheet and then just type in generate key. Usually the first thing that pops up, the second thing that pops up is this right here, and it has a nice little Google Sheets expression for you to generate your own keys. So if I go into the first one and paste that expression, I now have all these keys. However, each time something happens in here, these would regenerate because these are dynamic functions right now. So we want to copy this, delete it, and then we want to paste it, just the values, because we don't want that expression to constantly recalculate. We want these keys to stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so now we need to add this table into AppSheets. So I'm just going to make a change to really anything, and then hit save. And then if we go to data after we hit save, it should say, hey, we have a new table. We have a new table in the spreadsheet that you've have connected to this app. And so we see right here, resource cat. And now it's adding these tables, this new table into our app. And we don't really care for add, edits, or deletes. So we're going to go ahead and hide that. And I want to create a new UX view. And we'll call this resource categories. This is going to be connected to the resource cat table. Let's go ahead and just make this a table view. We'll make this a ref view. That way it's not in any of these right here. And then we want to just show one column in here, and that is going to be the category. Now let's go ahead and sort these alphabetically. So we want to do category, and then ascending will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, where if we chose descending, it would be counter alphabetical. So we want it to be alphabetical. So we're going to do ascending. Then let's go ahead and hit save. All right, so we have this cool table right here. And currently the behavior for it, if we were to select a row, is auto. And let's see what it does. It should take us just to a detailed view of that record, which we don't really care to go to that detail view because it's not really important.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to do is we want to create an action that when we click that button, it actually takes us to the filtered view of all the resources using that record, using that
Nice.
category name.
Mhm.
So if we go into behavior and create a new action, let's call this filter resources.
Nice.
This is happening. This is being executed on the resource category table because we want to be able to run this action while we're on that view that is
Mhm.
using the resource category data. We are going to go to another view within this app. And then right here, the target is where we want to actually create that deep link expression. All right. And we said that we were going to use the link to filtered view. And then inside of here, if we go into the AppSheet toolbox, go to the documentation and do link to filtered view, we can see right here we have the information for the documentation on link to filtered view, and we can see how it requires the syntax for that specific function. And we see that the first thing is the name of the view that we want to navigate to. This is the address that we want to go to that I was talking about. Then we have a comma. Then after that comma is the second parameter. The second parameter right here is the instructions on how we want to get there. We want to get there by using a filter condition, and we want to filter. In this example, it's where customer ID is equal to this row's customer ID. We want to do something similar, but we want to do where category is equal to this row's category. So it's going to be a very similar expression to their example right here. Let's go ahead and try that out. Well, we know that the view that we want to go to is the resource view. And so let's go ahead and I'm going to copy this and figure out what the name of that view is called. So if I go to menu, you can go to resources. We see that the view name is just called resources, plural. So let's go ahead and paste that back in. The first parameter is the address of the view that we want to go to. So resources, just like that. And we have AppSheet Toolbox telling us right here that this is a name of a view, of a card view. So we like that it's given us that confirmation. And now that we've completed that first parameter, we want to follow it with a comma to tell AppSheet that, hey, we're going on to the second parameter of this function. So if we were to type in true right here, it would go through each record inside that table and include it because it would show up true every single time. If we did false, it would filter it where there's no records inside that view. We don't want either of those. We want to intelligently tell AppSheet which records to include. So we want it to be where, let's go into the schema right here. We want it to happen where the resources category, so right here, the category of the resources, let's go ahead and add that, is equal to the category inside of resource cat. However, we are currently in context of the expression, the full expression, the action that we're triggering is happening inside the resource category table. And so that is the overall context of this expression. However, whenever we use this link to filtered view, it puts us into context of whatever table is used for this view. This resources view is connected to the resource table. And so we are now using expressions within the resource table. And so we're able to use this column right here, which is in the resource table. However, this column right here that we're trying to use is inside the resource category table. And so to get out of context of this filter condition and out of this link to view, we need to use an expression called this row. Just like that.
Nice.
Then we want to add a period in between this. And so what it's saying is I want to get out of the context of the link to filtered view, the resource table, and I want to go back into context of where this action is being executed from. And so now we're able to access that record that we're clicking the action button on and access the category of that action. All right. So this is currently not working. Column, this row is in a select or list dereference expression and should be a list enum.
Oh, is the
Let's go ahead and check out the different columns and see if there's something that I'm missing.
yeah, maybe the column type is wrong.
Yeah, maybe. So if I go to here and I see that categories text in here, which is cool. And then if we go in here, categories also text, which is good.
Oh, it looks like it's working now.
Oh, okay. AppSheet just needed a little bit of time to start thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I thought I was missing something.
Yeah.
All right. AppSheet just wanted some time to think.
Yeah.
Sometimes it needs to do that. Sometimes I need to do that too. Usually it's me who needs to do more thinking, and AppSheet who does less thinking.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and hit save. And now, whenever we're on that view, we want to trigger that action. Okay, one thing that we want to do real quick is we only want this to be triggered whenever they click that record. We don't want to trigger it manually through a button. And so let's go back to that behavior. What did I call it? Filter?
Yeah.
Filter resources?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want this to appear as an action button or anything. So we're going to go ahead and switch it to do not display. We only want to trigger this action whenever... What was it called? It was called resource categories. We only want to trigger this action whenever they click on a record inside of the resource category view. So now if we go ahead and hit save, we can try this out. So now if we click certification, we went to the resource table, and it's the resources view, and it's using the resource table. However, it's only showing one record from that table right now because we clicked the certification one. However, if we were to go back to here and click the expressions, now it's showing us all the expressions. And so what's cool about this compared to a slice is a slice is going to be the same. However, this expression can recalculate depending on which one of these you click. Whereas a slice is going to be the same consistently. But this expression right here filters it based off of whichever record you click. And so to get to that page, I want to create a instead of going from resources straight to the resource table, what I want to do is I want to take them from that view that we created. And so the way that Austin created that is inside of this menu view. We have the target that we're trying to go to. It's currently targeting the resources, but I want to target the resource categories. And so if I go ahead and copy this title of that view and paste it right here, and then we're going to have to save this app, or really we just needed to resync it. I'm going to go to full screen view for this.
That's pretty cool, dude. I like the explanation of the resources, that it puts you into context of whatever table that view is on. I didn't know that's how that expression worked. So
yeah. So a lot of times when working with expressions, you'll find that whenever you're doing a filter condition, it will take you out of context of where the expression is happening originally and put you in context of what you're filtering. And so what that looks like is a lot of times in a select expression, a select function. Let's say I'm in the team table but I'm trying to create a select expression inside the team table of all of the projects that are assigned to me.
Yeah.
You're creating the expression in the team table, but you're trying to filter the records inside of the projects table. And so you're going to be using the context of the projects table, but you also want to reach out of that context you want to like reach out of that context
Yeah.
into the context of the user that you're currently creating the expression for, because obviously you want that information. And so
Mm.
you use this row kind of like as a portal to get back to where you started.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've never used this row that much.
Yeah,
So,
it's one of those
that's a
things where it's
pretty
like you
that's
break
a
through a wall and
yeah,
then you're
that's a
like,
game
okay,
changer.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nice.
So right here we had the resources table, and instead of taking us to the resources page, it now takes us to the wrong view. Not quite sure why it's doing that. Also, there's
The
just like that syncing behavior is interesting.
yeah.
Um,
Maybe try it on here and see if it works. So it's still taking you to the previous view, right?
let's try. Let's try. Yeah, so it's still taking us to this view. Let's go ahead and make sure that it's connected to the right data. All right. I might have not clicked out of it, so it might have not
Yeah,
saved it.
yeah.
Sometimes after you manually edit a column inside of AppSheet, you have to then follow it up by clicking out of that cell, or it's not going to recognize the change.
Yeah,
Hopefully that's the case.
yeah.
Nope. um, Austin, this is the view name, right? That it's
Yeah,
going to?
yeah, that's the link, the view link. So
Huh.
that's like what? Um, and you've got resources,
Very interesting why it's not sending me over
recognizing.
to,
Yeah,
yeah. So let's go ahead and hit sync one more time and see if that changes that. Nope.
I
Okay.
wonder on your link to view the
The
action button.
action. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and check out. Let's debug this real quick.
Mhm.
So if we go to menu, we can see that on behavior, there is no event action. What?
Um, it's the on click. So like,
Okay.
yeah.
LTV menu is
Mhm,
the action that's running.
mhm,
And so if we type in menu, LTV menu is taking us to the view link of that app. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take out this optional second thing. This is just the address of the app. We don't really
mhm.
need that since we're
Okay,
staying inside the app that we're in.
nice.
And let's see if this changes anything. It
Mhm.
shouldn't.
Yeah,
It's
I
very,
wonder
very
that
strange.
you have the the copied version. I wonder that's probably it. I wonder if your app link is different
Yeah, I'm wondering if,
because now it'll be linked to
yeah.
this version of the app instead of the deployed version. I bet that was it.
So our internet kind of runs slow whenever we have two people on a webinar and then
Yeah,
have multiple client calls going around at the office as well.
yeah,
Um, we'll check this out later. It should be working, I believe. Let's
yeah.
give it one more shot.
There
Okay,
it
there we
goes.
go. So whenever you click this resource categories, it now takes us to this resource categories page.
Mhm,
And then when I click, let's say, weekly webinar, we see we have this week's webinar and last week's webinar in here.
mhm. Nice.
All right, let's go to the third and final functional requirement real quick. So this last one is we want to create a dynamic menu for employees to sign up. And we want to use an in function, but we're also going to quickly cover the contains function and what that does as well. So if you didn't really catch what I meant by create a dynamic view for employees to sign up, let's go ahead and talk about what that means. So whenever they are inside the app, we have this menu. And this menu has different items, has different records that show. And when you click one of these items, it actually sends them to a different view based off the one that you click. We see stuff like my profile and team directory and resources and all this stuff. This app uses a whole lot of user preferences and a whole lot of user specific things. And so we don't want people using this app unless they actually have a user record inside this app. So if somebody comes in, let's say we hire somebody at appsheettraining.com named John Smith. John Smith, send us an email if you want to get hired. We already got an email for you now. We see right here that John Smith does not have a record inside of this table. John Smith doesn't have a record in this table. So what we want to do is we want to show this view right here, join the team. That way they can actually use the app as intended, and we don't want them to go on and start creating data and accessing these other views if they don't even have a user assigned to the email that they're signed into.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and check this out. So if we go over to join the team, if we're on this view right here, and we see that this view is connected to a slice that is menu, show if user is in directory slice. Let's go ahead and view that definition. So now we are checking out the slice that Austin created, and we see that this function right here uses the contains function. And we want to not have to deal with that issue that we just had. It also uses an if function, but we'll check that out as well. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And I'm going to go ahead and snip it and just put it aside and say user exists. And then now that I have it saved, I can go ahead and delete it. So the first thing that we want to do is do that in function. So the in function was, we want to see if the user email, the needle is the user email, person who's logged in, what their email is. That's the needle, and we want to see if that is inside of the team table's emails. So this right here is the haystack. It is a list of all of the emails found inside the team table. And this is the needle. This is the email that's currently logged into AppSheet. It's checking if this email right here is inside of this list of emails. If it is, it's going to return true. If it's not, it's going to return false.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
All right. And then the second half was the if function. And so the if function, we have 3 parameters. The first parameter is a yes, no. And the in function returns a yes or no, which is convenient. And then the second function, the second parameter of the if function is what you want to return if the first parameter is true. And the third one is what you want to return if else, if it does not equal true.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and give ourselves some space. Let's add the ending parenthesis. All right, so now we want to do, what will it return if it's true? Well, if it's true, we want to, let's check out the schema and explain this real quick. So if we go to not resources, menu, we see that there's this table right here, show if user is in directory. And so we can see that we want this view to show up if it's false, if that user doesn't exist, but we want all these other ones to exist, to show up if they aren't, if they are inside the directory. And so what we're going to do is, if this is true, meaning they are in that list, we want to show them the items where show if the user is in directory is true, because we want to show these records if they are in it. So we're going to go ahead and type in an expression where it's show if user is in directory, and we want to do if that equals true. However, if they are not found in this list, the else function is the same thing, but false. All right. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to show you a bug that we would experience if we did not have this function real quick. So let's go ahead and copy this. I'm going to cancel out of this, and it's going to bring it back to its previous expression. And so let's go ahead and type in info. Info at appsheettraining.com does exist inside the database. And so he gets access to the views. However, if I change this to fo at appsheettraining.com, this person's not in the database, but since we're using the contains, they're still able to access it.
Yeah.
Also, if we were to like remove the OM from it, that would also work because that's still found inside the database. But we don't want that. We want it to be that new function that we created right here. So now that we have that in place, if we tried to do fo at appsheet.c, it's going to be like, of course. What? Let's go ahead and hit save. It's using the in function. Okay, so if it's true, it's going to show them this, and if it's false, it's going to show them that. Let's make sure that's correct. Okay. Type in .com. Let's type in info. Let's make sure that this is running correctly. Okay, so it's running correctly right here. And then if we add somebody who's not in it, let's say John, and hit apply, we can see that he does not have an account. But let's try the fo. Let's see if that works. Very interesting. That was not happening.
Last time.
Oh, I know why. I think I know why. I might not know why. Okay. I am not sure, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that's the in function, and that's the contains function.
Oh, did it work now? Nope.
Nope. I think it might be the same thing as that was happening with the other thing. It's kind of just like cached.
Oh.
Incorrectly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but
yeah. Yeah, sometimes we gotta refresh the page. And try it again.
Okay, so this should not show. Okay, and then app, and let's try app at grease.solution or solutio. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, it was just like a caching issue. It was having a previous version of the app again. But like app at grease.solutio would pass if we were using the contains, but since we're using the in, this is not a full element inside that list. And so it's saying this is false and giving us the join team. The example that we were using before was fo at appsheettraining.com instead of info at appsheettraining.com. And now that we resync the app and resync the editor, it's working
Mhm.
just fine now.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know why AppSheet's
AppSheet.
having this weird
Yeah.
caching thing today. Maybe it's
Yeah.
our internet, maybe it's AppSheet servers. I don't know. That was so weird. We didn't make any changes to the expression. It's just
Yeah. They're testing us,
re-
seeing if
yeah,
we're really experts or not.
yeah. All right. Well, that's the demo. I'm gonna look through some of the questions real quick. Is there any
Yeah.
ones that stood out to you, Austin?
I'll throw Jeremy's up here. Jeremy asked,
I have time for one question.
yeah. So I've had versioning bugs occasionally. Is that the cause?
It might amount to that. We're not using any like actual versioning. So we're not using like the version feature where there's like a live version and development version. We're not
Mhm.
doing that. And so that shouldn't be an issue where there's like a deployed version and then like a development version.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it might be a sort of like a version caching where it's like
Yeah.
almost like this is trying to iterate on
Mhm.
a previous version of the editor of the same like development version. And
Right.
so I don't know if that's the issue. I think it's just acting kind of wonky right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's what
but
he said. He was
yeah,
like,
I think
maybe.
it kind of is a
Mhm.
versioning issue, but not like a versioning issue that is usually talked about whenever you're talking about a version issue.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Sweet. Yeah, I think that's about it. Everybody else was just commenting on what they're using slices for, and um, and then I think some other ways to use the deep links. So that was great, dude. I really liked the demos and how to create some different expressions using AppSheet.
for
That's pretty
sure.
cool. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, guys, if you like this, make sure to like and subscribe. And um, thank Cam for coming on today. He is going to have to head out a little bit early. But we definitely appreciated you coming on, Cam, and sharing your expertise with us. And I really enjoyed the what is it, the this row expression. So if you guys want to comment, what was your favorite part of the webinar? What did you learn that you hadn't learned before? And yeah, what did you learn today in today's webinar? Um, Sweet. So just to review, what we did first was we looked at a basic understanding of expressions, what they're used for in AppSheet, and then we looked at creating those expressions into our employee onboarding app from basic to advanced. So those features, what Cam looked at first was kind of creating the slice and how to set that up for the profile page, and only viewing one slice at a time, one user at a time, instead of viewing all the users. And then he moved all the way into the advanced feature of creating the in versus the contains expression. And he went into why it's probably better to use the in expression than the contains expression. And we also did some troubleshooting along the way. And then finally, we implemented those features into our employee onboarding app. Um, and so next, if you guys still had more questions and you're ready to learn more, just comment in the chat. I'll still be on for a couple more minutes, and if you want to learn more, we can continue going. Just say, yeah, I'd love to learn more about what's possible with AppSheet. So how it works is you're going to head over to appsheettraining.com, and you will get to learn from you'll get to learn from expert instructors. These instructors are like Cam. Justin is another one of those instructors, and they're going to teach you how to build on AppSheet and take your apps to the next level. This training is available on demand. It's AppSheet training right when you need it. So if you're interested in learning more about slices or interested in learning more about expressions, we have a course, we have a module there to meet that need for you. And then you can put your AppSheet skills on display. Show off your skills on LinkedIn, on your resume, and showcase that you have expert knowledge to develop on the AppSheet platform. And that's through our certification. And that comes with your pro subscription. So you're going to be able to automate your world with ease. So if you're looking to create automations for your job or for your specific workflow, you can do this by taking our trainings. And what you'll do is sign up for the pro subscription. You can get a 7-day free trial right now. So it's an immersive learning experience. There's new courses added every month, and you get that AppSheet certification. So once you subscribe to the pro subscription, you'll get 15% off consulting as well. So all you have to do is click the link that I'm going to throw in the description, and then you can get access to that 7-day free trial. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this for those that are still interested in getting this free trial. And you can go ahead and head over there to appsheettraining.com, and it takes you to our pricing page. And all you have to do is click purchase. It'll take you through our purchasing portal, and then it's not going to charge you at first. You get that 7-day free trial, and then if you like what you're learning and want to continue, it's $39 a month after that. You're getting access to all of our course library. So there's currently 4 courses up there, and you're going to get access to more every month. So you're going to want to make sure to stay subscribed, because you're going to get access to all this AppSheet knowledge, and be able to level up your skills to create more efficient workflows for your workplace. All right. And then we also have enterprise and team trainings. So if you haven't heard about these, you're going to go and click on our enterprise tab. So if you're in an organization, or you're looking to create more efficient workflows for your whole team, we have an option for you as well. And this is where you can get access to our live instructors and live boot camps and live trainings. And to get in contact with us about that, you're going to want to download the flyer on the enterprise page and then set up a discovery call. This is where we can talk with you about how to level up your team skills and create more productive workflows for your entire organization with AppSheet. So we'd love to connect with you. And if you're looking to get in contact with us, this is how you do it. Just simply clicking on the discovery call button and setting up that discovery call with us. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those links in the description as well. And those will be right here. So if you're an enterprise or looking to level up your whole team, these are the links that you'll use right there. And then finally, we have the Tech Talk one for individuals looking to level up their skills. So if you're a working professional and you're wanting to get more out of your AppSheet account and get more out of using the AppSheet platform, we recommend purchasing that pro subscription. If you're a whole team or organization looking to level up your whole organization and create automations for teams in your organization, then that enterprise training is going to work great for you. All right. And I think that wraps up our webinar for this week. So the next webinar will be April 21st at 10 a.m. And then we're going to be talking about UX design. So we took a little bit of a UX design element to this webinar, but we'll dive even deeper next week on how to create those great user experiences through AppSheet, and what that looks like and what that means. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys then. Thank you for sticking around, and we will see you next week. Thanks for joining.